My second book review for today is Wilder Girls by Rory Power. It was a journey getting my hands on this book, like, let me tell you. So I started reading Bunny, and then I remembered that there was this book, which is also along the kind of like, what the fuck, like kind of fucked up graphic type books that I was in the mood to read because I'm weird and messed up. And so I was up in Springfield with my mother, and I was like, hey, can we go by Barnes & Noble? There's this book that I really want because it kind of like fits the theme of books I'm currently reading, and I just want to go see if they have it. So we went there, and I could not find it. And so I went to a customer service guy, and I was like, hey, do you guys have this book? I'm pretty sure it's YA. And he looked it up in the system, and he was like, yeah, it is YA, but we don't have it. So I was like, okay. So I ended up getting 2 different books, which are actually on the very top of this stack that you cannot see right now, but we'll get to those eventually. And then I came back home, and then like 2 weeks later, I went to our Barnes & Noble here, and thank God they had it so I could finally read it. So with that done, we're gonna talk about this book. So this book is basically a Lord of the Flies inspired book. I'm not gonna say retelling because people always have been arguing that it's not a Lord of the Flies retelling, it's a Lord of the Flies inspired, but it's basically about this island of girls who have been infected by the thing they called the tox, and it kind of like distorts their bodies, and like has like, some people are growing like second spines, and the main character Hetty like can't see out of one of her eyes, and one of her other friends has like scales or whatever on one of her hands. And so basically they've been quarantined to this island, and the CDC and everything are like, you gotta stay on this island while we find a cure. And that's kind of like where the book takes off. So now we're gonna talk about characters. I've already mentioned one, and that is Hetty. She's the main character, and she's kind of like an outsider, whereas like a lot of the girls who go to this school are like from like wealthy families, and like she's a Marine or Air Force baby, so like her like she's an Army kid because of her father. And then her best friend is Byatt, which halfway through the book, like, I was confused as to whether Byatt was the love interest or not, because the way she talked about Byatt made it seem like they were gonna be the ones that were gonna fall in love, but it turns out that like Byatt and Hetty are just like really close in terms of like they're such good best friends that they're like nearly sisters, because they kind of come from like the same background. So they kind of bond over that. And Byatt is the one with the second spine. And yeah. And then the third character, her name is Reese. Her name is Reese, and she's kind of like this badass chick, like, you know, pretends like she doesn't need anybody and she doesn't care about anybody. And throughout the book, Hetty and her find a way and kind of like slowly fall in love over the course of the book. And yeah, so that's all I have for you today for Wilder Girls by Rory Power, and I will see you guys later. Bye!